So I'm back in the same platform of the stuff I posted. I'll repost the link. And like I said I would, I bought into this plunge and got into about a standard lot on 1Ks right now. So yeah, the color scheme, when I go to edit stuff, I need to have a different color scheme. So yeah, when I click on that stuff, you can't see it. But I know what it is. Unfortunately, I get it. You wouldn't know what that is. Now this is that bad ratio I was talking about. So I was able to recover on the dead cat bounce into this plunge. So anytime you buy into a plunge, you need to know that on the 1 hour and the 2 hour and the 3 hour chart, there's sells. So if the market's up in 2 hours, if the market's falling into which you already know is going to be a pent up demand to sell this thing, and this thing could keep collapsing for another 50 pips easily. If I step in front with a 28 pip stop here, that thing has to drop another 20 and not go lower than here to blow out this dollar amount. So you always have to come back to how much money do you have, like they say in the racing business. How fast do you want to go? How much money you got? And of course, if the account's big enough, yeah, when it gets down here, the high probability dead cat bounces. So I put the bad ratios commingled with the good ratios. We don't know where the train's going to stop exactly, but we know there's buyers galore, and here's where you're going to martingale in. So if I'm only in a standard lot, I can afford to buy. Even though they're going to stop me out of this, that's a 25 pip stop on there. I can see because we're going to be losing $2, just about to lose $2.60. It's probably a 26 pip stop. And these are the dailies I dropped earlier, and those were in a 10 pip zone, but it depended on where I dropped it exactly. So that's the art of it, is getting the density and the tickets that pay for the bad tickets. Right? Too much Corona, the second wave. So you're swing trading it. You're expecting to lose at least $90 to make $300. I don't know. You got to figure, what are you going to lose? To feel more confident, I stretch this out and I ask myself, at this rate of drop, from the last price pulse framed into the last known kind of doji, the only chance to get on the 4 hour train and sell, that's your only chance to sell. If you believe selling into any kind of pullback is the right trend for a trend trader. Am I going to call this a trend? I would say, yeah, on the 1 hour chart, this is a hell of a trend. That's a steep ass trend. Is this sustainable? Is it worth just laying track in front of it and just saying, what are you going to do? Sell here? How many more pips do you think this thing's got to the downside? So if you go to the 1 hour chart, you'd have to say, well, these 1 hour guys think it's a sell. That's the last sell they know of. But at this point, I'm not going to worry about it. At 13,000, so I'm also taking consideration how much money in the account. So I could take a $300 loss. It wouldn't bother me to be back to just below 13,000. So as you're building the account, you consider the next risk to be slightly more if you're trying to keep a percentage risk. But I wouldn't get carried away because I wouldn't try to trade the Canadian dollar along with this on the same account, because when I look at the balance fluctuation, I can't tell where it's coming from. I'm like, what? How can this be making money? And then I just did this today with this account. I got out of the other instrument and I thought, why is this still in profits? Why isn't it cashing out? But I didn't hit the close all profitable button. And that's why I have this close, because if you accidentally get out of a winning trade because you click on that or somebody gets a hold of it, and boom. So I'm going to keep buying this as it drops because I wish I could buy more right now, but I'm committing to buy if it goes lower into Asia. By 9 o'clock, we could be down another 20 pips. And I know that I would lose some of these, but I'd still be in about another 50K, I'm guessing. So now I'm actually adding to the position because we just went down. The 1 hour traders are like, yeah, we're selling that. It's in a downtrend. Gotcha, but how much more can it, how low can it go? If you're going to build a position against the thrusting down moves, you got to do some kind of consideration. If you want to be in 3 standard lots would be the optimal sizing. You could possibly get filled on 5 standard lots. Is there enough money to cover that? It'd be $500, depending on how tight your stops are. And with the bad ratios, you're going to go underwater, but you're not going to lose a position, so you got to re-enter. Because you can't, you're not, if you go pure limits, you're not going to be able to come back in at the market. You shouldn't. Unless you know how to do that too, because otherwise you could be over trading and oversizing it. So that is the key. The size and the fact that I'm trading the pound and the euro, I think that's putting more stress on the account. And if you're trying to make a point and show somebody how it works, they're looking at you like, well, that works good. But here I put in my orders before I started the video here. And these are going to last all day. And I can put in these like break even down here all day long. Stack those up. We may never make it down there. I still got the pendings on the upside. The broker's still letting me put tickets in amazingly. So they have quite a, you can trade your ass off at this broker, although the spreads go to 5 pips on the euro and in Asia. So you need to have stop. You could swing trade at this broker because they let you put in racks, supposedly, unless the real account has a limitation. See, that's a whole nother thing. Not every broker has the demo matches the real account, and they're like, well, that's the demo, and now you're a real account. So I had issues like that where if I put money in the real account, it would execute slowly. If there was money in the account, it would execute slowly, and you could drop pendings into a real account without money in it, and the orders would come in like all over the screen in a burst. As soon as there was like $1 in that account, or you made a deposit, the execution was down to like, took 10 times as long, 10x longer. And so I thought, well, I complained to them. But I thought, yeah, well, what are you going to do, right? So they're like, well, it's real money. It actually goes from almost demo mode to like real mode. As soon as the money's in there for them, the switch is that you just went from demo to real. So they're trading you differently. They're trading against you. I don't know. I mean, if you can trade with a 50 pip stop, it's pretty hard for them to trade it, stop hunt you. Like, who's moving a market against you 50 pips to hunt you out? Now, if the spread goes to 50 pips, which it could, sure, in Asia, I've seen into the weekend, I've seen brokers go to, I mean, this one broker, Master Forex, they would make their spread 50 pips during the holidays to kind of deter you from trading. You could still trade with a 50 pip. I'm not kidding. They would send out this letter. They said for the next 2 weeks, we'll be trading at 50 pip spread. Okay. And I was in a trade, and I looked at my thing, and I swear to God, the spread was so wide, you just couldn't believe, you just was like, looked like support and resistance. That was what they said. That's how it had to be, but that's probably why people came after them, but it was their right to have an insane spread to kind of say, don't trade during the holidays because there's no liquidity and we don't have any, and so don't even try trading with us. I don't know. But if you're going to trade 2 or 3 trades per week on the 4-hour chart, if you're only going to take the most, say you built a sell position or you just range traded it or whatever your style is. But I do think the key is having more than one ticket. If you can get past one ticket, get to 2 tickets, 3 tickets. If you can get to high resolution trading, that it's not going to affect you if it's just a dollar amount. But I still think you got to look at the chart and say, okay, the weekly chart does matter when it's making new highs on the weekly. And so if you're going to sell new highs on the weekly, you're going to wait a long time for this trade. But how is this not a good place to get in? It makes a new high. It's breaking out on the weeklies. Are you really buying up there? Maybe you're going to be right in the long run. If you bought up there, you had to run 150 pip stop, almost 120 pip stop. Well, it's bullish. It's going up. All right, but that's the weekly chart. Where's your trade on this thing? British pound is just moving. I don't think it's... If you go trade the Australian dollar, it's hardly moving. Some things are hardly moving. Some things are just getting their heads smashed in. I mean, on the monthly... Look at this wick. This is real data on this British pound. Look at this, damn. This is that election stuff. Crazy stuff. These people are nuts. This against the American dollar. It's like Corona back here. I'm sorry, Euro dollar. That was British pound, same story. British pound just... Oh, here we're coming in the buy limits, so... One more plunge down. Now we could drop easily into here, and now I'm just going to start loading the wagon right in front all day long with these martingale entries now. Get into $400 a margin and make like, just on the bounces, $600. So I'm going to go for scalps here. Like this is probably my best ratios. 20 pip stop, 40 pip take profit. Well, we kind of just got stopped out and we got limited in on something. I got to scroll down because you see the color scheme. Windows 10 does not allow you to, it doesn't do well with MT4. And for you to get it so you can highlight stuff and edit the scripts, you can't do it. It's almost impossible. I downloaded a bunch of stuff to try to help fix that problem. Some of it's cool. You can come in on top of that, but then you destroy this theme, but remnants of the theme are still underneath. It's beyond disturbing how Windows doesn't really even let you do anything. Like it's totally... They might as well just give you that embedded computer with the chips, so it just, no matter what. Okay, so I'm down $136 buying into the plunge here on the British pound. So I said I'm willing to willing to go underwater by 300. If I can pick up another standard lot, it'd be worth it. Get the $400 a margin here. About 2 standard lots. I don't know if this is coming back too. I wasn't looking, but so another problem with trading more than one currency I find is the amount of focus. If you're trying to really make decisions, when you start to go into new lows here, so if the euro dollar can take out yesterday's low, it's just going to be a mountain. It goes up and it goes down, and it's just perplexing. So if we ever take this out, which I don't know, another 50 pips to go to here, yeah, that'd be the end of the world. But I'm willing to buy on the way there because I think this is going to be where I'm buying because of this low, and because it's been going down really hard. So buy here and then buy here all night long or all of tomorrow, we retrace to where we're at now. So it's on the standard lot, comes down, you fill about 2 standard lots, come back up, cash that out at 40 pips, make $800. So commingled in there is tickets that only going to be in momentarily in because they're 20 pip stops to make 10 pip. And if it's a 10K drop, you can see that exits. So this will make it seem fair, is to drop it right here at the 10-yard line and see that the take profit is on the way to the floor where it's at now. This is considered to be support, this last bar, and you just nicked it. So on the 4 hour, they just kind of took it a little slightly lower. It's running out of momentum. You're coming into Asia. The target for anybody that's doing this trade right now is going to be, when it gets to here, they're going to bail. Maybe dump the whole thing because you're in this no man's land, people call it, or the turtle soup, or some bullshit terms, whatever you want. If it ever got to this, you'd put in, so mark it off and put all these. I'd even put the good ratios down here because you're so deep in at this point. And put in the scalps, making 5 pips. I can make this risk 12 to make 8. It's probably a better thing because then you can survive a little more punishment. But these should go in between all that. I can't believe how much this broker lets you put in. So now I'm just going to be a pig and put everything below here and see what if the broker locks me out of no more tickets. Can we really make it down here by tomorrow? Man, maybe. It's not like it hasn't happened. I don't think when this thing went screaming up here, a lot of people are like, it's going higher? You're kidding. So market's not kidding. And it just doesn't even care or know. Nobody's hunting your stops because you bought this pullback here because you think it's in an uptrend. Nobody's out to get you. But that's I guess the appeal for people to sign up for a course. Oh, thank God, I thought they were out to get me. Oh, it turns out they're just institutional traders. Stop hunting me down. The old proverbial stop hunt. That's my broker's just hunting just my account, singled out. I don't know. Katie barred the door. Get your gun. Annie, get your gun. Let the games begin. Okay, I'm coming back to almost not. I'm only down $120 here. So I thought I was gonna blow up the account for a second there. Whew. So having a demo account, and then you realize that doesn't matter. Every time London opens, it should be obvious the trade. If the market's just ripping up or down, if you aren't in that trade, maybe it's too late to get on that train. So where's the market going to? What's the big panic about? What's the appeal? Why is it rushing? And when's it going to stop? And once you look to the left and you see the abyss that it's falling into, you have to stand back and just say, okay, people, why don't you run it for a while? Here, you guys can have the city for a while. We're going to go home. You got to love it. We need Westworld, though. We need robots out there. Can we get those robots to dress up like racist police? They have Grand Theft Auto, don't they? Are they going to ban Grand Theft Auto next, or is that still cool? I like how everybody's just Yeah, come to think of it, yeah, I have to get rid of that too then. Oh, God, then what else we got to get rid of? Oh, I remember when people were getting rid of the furs. Do you remember this? I don't know how old you are, but there was this thing where you couldn't have a fur. And if you were caught wearing a fur, people would throw blood on it and like, I got to buy a new one. Thanks. No, that worked out good. They're always coming after somebody. I'm just a victim of a circumstance here. Yeah, so we're waiting for the meltdown, the final meltdown of the pound and the euro into my capture zone of limits. The lazy trader's approach. I don't give a damn. I heard people were gobbling up the banned movie. It's funny. I think it's a scam for Sony. How they have like, we're going to open the vault for the last time. Gone with the Wind. Banned in every country. Worse than counter trend trading. Worse than range trading. Deemed the most anti-trend trading system available. Wait till they outlaw trend trading. Find out what the market makers are up to. See, I know they see my tickets and they think, let's do what this guy's doing. That's why I had to go underground. That's why I called Robinacci over for tea and crumpets. I said, we gotta make a truce here, save both ourselves from the Illuminati of the stop hunting Illuminati. Yeah, they're going to stop me out of this, aren't they? That's okay. I'm going to buy into it defiantly. I'm going to go all in on this thing. How dare they stop me out? I got to chase the balance around now. Get into $400 a margin is going to be the trick here. We have to now we got to take a hit of about $250 to gobble that up. It's a tremendous move there. So big backlash there on the S&P, and people are saying it's because they said, well, the jobs report, whatever. No, you know what it is the jobs report numbers flattened out. It's not that the job numbers were big. It's that, you know what? The ride's over, people. That's called a retracement. Now it's just going to be a range trader's dream all over again. All right, the big swooping weekly retracement engulf fail, right? So you end up with a doji at the end of the week. Another failed engulf pattern. So all patterns fail because the time frame that you're on and the pip range you're trading. It's the pip range that's going to hurt you, not the. It's the volatility that kills you, not the pattern. There's no magic in the pattern. It's just how big is that pattern? How tall is that gear that you're in? Are you going to flip your bike over? You know, you can only stretch it so far. You know, you start taking statues down. So it's also the bottom of the hour. We're expecting a crush into the bottom of the hour here. It wasn't worth me selling into this for the 10 pip drop, I don't think. I'm kind of really contrarian, so I'm going to buy as it crushes into those orders and try to get into $400 a margin. Okay, so now I'm going to go for some scalps. Bad ratios now right here, right in front, all day long. I guess until a broker stops me, locks me out of. This another thing has to have a broker with a low threshold, and then you can't. Your money management's kind of forced upon that if you drop all these tickets, you have to wait for them to expire before you could drop a new ticket. Or you could delete one off, like you could come over, but I'm pretty stubborn. I'm not going to change my plan on this. I'm buying all the way down. So, I mean, I don't think I'm going to take more than another $150 drawdown to gobble up another $40 of margin, take us to $300 of margin usage, and the balance is probably going to take us down to $12,800. That's my estimation. But this is beautiful because I would normally buy at the market, but I thought, what a stupid thing to do. If you know it's going down, I guess I'm thinking, well, just buy some now because it's probably going to retrace. But then I thought, that's just, maybe buy one every hour and just put in just limit galore, because you have no idea how far this could drop right now. If you would have sold here on that one bounce on the euro, you didn't even get a pullback. On the pound, you got a pullback. There's not even a chance to sell this unless you go to the half-hour chart. There's the sell. Are you going to sell there? Into Asia? So the half-hour, you'd be a very active trader. You'd be buying right now at the market, especially you're trapped under the half-hour floor there. Come on. You're not selling this breakout to the downside. Well, maybe you are. On the half-hour, you got to be selling every half hour it's up, because there was no 1 hour sell. So, but there's more chance to get whipsawed when you go to the smaller time frames. Half hour is pretty decent. 15, yeah, you get butchered, I suppose. 1 hour is going to be the cleanest, but you're not going to get the opportunity, right? It's a so-called trend trade. Like this half-hour pullback, yeah, sell, boom. Sell that one. Is it going to keep tanking? There's probably divergence here easily in RSI. Besides, it's totally psycho. Okay, so we're just about the right amount position here. I wouldn't buy at the market, but you could right here. You could justify it by saying it's down on the half hour, buy at the market. It's down on the last hour. At least 2 bars down on the half hour. So I won't touch this trade, and I'm going to go to the British pound. Still coming into my buy limits. So these things are like a beat away from each other. Got to go to the half hour chart to be fair. So perfect channel here on the half hour. Right on closing prices, you'd say, right? Who wouldn't, right? I think it's pretty obvious, or Andrew's pitchfork stuff. But still, how do you, when do you pull the trigger? Pull it there. So you can all do. It's funny how MetaTrader, if you just drag that line, it just jumps into the, amazingly, it just clings to the highs and lows, it seems. Maybe I'm just imagining it. I'm trying to copy it. So hold down the control key, drag it over so you can make a pitchfork out of that. So how long is this going to keep tanking, right? Okay, so 5 minutes after the bottom of the hour, we could still spike down, and I can afford it now. So I can relax. That's a good trade. Let's see what happens.